Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're taking a seriously fascinating journey into the vast and, honestly, highly misunderstood landscape of the human mind. If you've ever felt like, your brain just works a little differently than the people around you, or if you're on a personal path of self-discovery trying to unlock your true potential, well, this explainer was built exactly for you. We're going to look at how we actually measure the different tiers of human intelligence. And let me tell you, it goes so much deeper than just being quote-unquote smart or average. I want you to ask yourself something. What if your intelligence isn't just a number? I mean, for decades, our cultural narrative has been completely obsessed with static IQ scores, right? We take a test, we get a number, and society basically tells us exactly where we fit in. But that is incredibly limiting. The true spectrum of intelligence is this rich tapestry of entirely different operating systems. It's not just about who can solve a math equation the fastest. It's about how we connect, how we see the world, and how we literally shape reality. So here is the ascending ladder we're going to be climbing today. We'll start at the foundations of intelligence, move up to the engine of society, then the accelerators, the paradigm shifters, the transcendent, and we'll wrap up with finding your unique mix. All right, Section 1. The foundations of intelligence. This tier covers individuals with IQs generally below 85. Now, traditionally, society tends to focus on what this group struggles with, like abstract academics. But man, that completely misses their profound strengths. These folks are heavily sensory, hands-on learners. They respond incredibly well to tone, to touch, and repetition, rather than, long theoretical explanations. They thrive in structured, clear environments. Think essential, consistent routines or hands-on caregiving. But the real superpower? It's deep emotional connection. They have this pure, unfiltered ability to bond, show absolute loyalty, and express joy or empathy without needing complex words. They literally remind us of the foundation of human connection. Moving on to Section 2, the engine of society. And this brilliantly illustrates the average intelligence tier, which forms the vast majority of the human population. We're talking about the massive backbone of society right here. These are the teachers, the drivers, nurses, small business owners, the technicians. They read, they write, they follow laws, and they clearly understand cause and effect. They possess the absolute perfect practical intelligence for relationships, routine, and everyday problem solving. Simply put, the world literally stops turning without them. However, there is a specific vulnerability to this group, and it's basically a stagnation trap. Because their intelligence allows them to adapt perfectly to daily life, well, life just works for them. And because it works, they rarely feel the need to ask deeper questions. They often suffer from the illusion that they understand everything. They might confuse "I am right" with "I actually deeply understand this concept." They don't grow. Not because they can't, but because their comfortable routine never really forces them to try. Which brings us to Section 3, the accelerators. Do you ever feel like everyone around you is just moving in slow motion? Well, that's the main difference between a routine problem solver and an accelerator. See, the routine problem solver takes things step by step, but the accelerator, they literally jump over the steps. They aren't just learning, they are predicting. They spot patterns in behavior and complex systems almost instantly, often seeing the outcome of a problem before anyone else even realizes a problem exists. School probably felt painfully slow and boring to these minds, mostly because they were ready for the finish line while everyone else was, frankly, still tying their shoes. Now, what's really interesting about this stat is that only about 2% of the population falls into this high intelligence bracket, boasting an IQ between 130 and 145. These minds effortlessly master abstract systems. They can devour advanced curricula, teach themselves complex software engineering, or dive into really deep philosophical debates entirely on their own. They just understand things on the fly. But this immense processing power comes with a major Achilles heel, a really high risk of social alienation. Because they see too much, way too early, they often find themselves editing their words in their heads so they don't overwhelm quote-unquote normal people. Or they just pretend to be normal to get by. Especially in youth, this creates severe emotional isolation. Their cognitive speed vastly outpaces their emotional maturity and the rigid, slow systems around them. And yeah, that can lead to incredible frustration. Section 4. The paradigm shifters. Scaling further up, we enter the domain of the exceptionally gifted. As the saying goes, geniuses don't solve problems. They demolish the logic behind them and rebuild it. Minds like Albert Einstein or the great mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan, they don't follow the established rules. They question why the rules were even written in the first place. They think in entirely different, totally unconventional directions. But beware, being a genius is often described as feeling isolated at the speed of light. They're often mocked or even punished by society long before they are finally thanked, simply because everyday folks just cannot comprehend their speed. Within this tier, we also find the polymath, someone who takes genius and just spreads it across multiple disciplines. Think of Leonardo da Vinci. He didn't just paint, right? He mastered anatomy, engineering, mechanical invention. A polymath erases the borders between subjects. To them, math and music are literally the exact same language. Biology and philosophy, just two sides of the same coin. This takes not just raw brain power, but immense discipline and a deep, burning love for learning. Up next, Section 5, the Transcendent. We have reached the absolute peak of the ascending ladder. Here, we shift from high processing speed to pure, unadulterated awareness. The visionary process is a brutal but beautiful cycle. First, they imagine futures that look utterly impossible to the rest of us. Because of this, they face extreme societal mockery and doubt. But they possess this unique blend of genius, insight, and sheer courage. They bridge science, society, and spirit, pushing through that massive wave of doubt to build movements that quite literally write human history. This is the ultimate definition of transcendent intelligence. It's an awareness of the illusions that form identity, rather than just these simple accumulation of knowledge. It's not about hoarding facts or having all the answers. While a genius might connect the dots faster than anyone else, the transcendent mind asks what the dots actually mean. Think of historical figures like the 9th century philosopher king Al-Mamun, or profound scientific and spiritual scholars like Dr. Mustafa Mahmud and Muhammad Basel Altai. They understood the deep cycles of consciousness and exactly why humanity seeks knowledge in the first place. And you'd think this highest level of intelligence would be loud and dominant, right? It's not. It is incredibly quiet. It is still. And tragically, it is very often mistaken for madness by the general public. Why? Because it threatens the very foundations of how normal society views itself. These transcendent minds don't try to control people. They guide without pressure. In this ultimate state, intelligence no longer serves the human ego, it serves absolute truth. Section 6, finding your unique potential. So the crucial point is, where do you fit in? We've traveled all the way from foundational pillars to quiet visionaries. And the reality is, intelligence is absolutely not a singular flat metric. Some people are brilliant at rapid-fire calculation and logic. Others have an unmatched gift for speech and persuasion, and others possess a towering genius for emotion, empathy, and just deeply understanding people. The truth is, nobody is lacking. Every single one of us has a highly specific, unique cocktail of strengths and vulnerabilities. The goal of life isn't to be someone else. It's to recognize your own specific cocktail, understand your blind spots, and absolutely master your strengths. Which brings us to our final thought. The smartest person in the room isn't the one who simply achieves standard success or scores the highest on some rigid test. No, the truly intelligent person, the most conscious person, is the one who knows exactly what their unique mix is and learns exactly how to wield it. So, I leave you with this. What's yours? Take the time to figure out how your specific mind works, lean into your superpowers, and start building your reality. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.